Good morning and welcome to Frontiers of Knowledge segment of Dr. Lamba's Awakening. In our life, we see every day that the heroes of today are zeros of tomorrow. We see in our social life, even political life, that the colossus and the giants are humbled without any pity, without any sympathy. But when this happens in the realm of science and knowledge, it is indeed something which is awakening and comes as a rude shock. Especially so when the supposed hero, even before coming to the full maturity, is hit with the most objectionable epithets. Imagine, till today, till now, AI, artificial intelligence, augmented intelligence has not come full bloom. People have been saying that the robots would take away the jobs, but that was a very minor thing because the jobs created would have been much more. But today is the age where climate change is a bugbear. Rightly or wrongly, politicians and some interested scientists have tried to project a natural phenomena as something which is almost a calamity. And the dire warnings have been issued that the end of the world is near. And now, would you be amazed? It is being said, or rather, it is being reported and after research that AI is likely to be the biggest climate change threat. Not cars, not automobiles, not transportation, not jets. So blame has shifted. They knew that blame had no legs to stand upon. That methane is a normal result of all animal and natural activity, whether it's bogs or other thing. And now they say that the chip technologies and the complete artificial intelligence as a block is going to be the largest and the biggest climate change threat. Reason? This is going to be energy gobbler, and when energy gobbler is there, you need energy, and again, you come back to the same thing. There was a conference in San Francisco the other day, just about 3 days back, and Gary Dickerson, who is the chief executive of Applied Materials, which is the biggest supplier of the semiconductor industry, he said that by 2025, artificial intelligence would account for 10% of the world's electricity shall be by the AI. Today, millions of the data centers soak a lot of energy, but the total energy being used by millions of the data centers is less than 2%. Less than 2%. And they say that at present, AI is using just 0.1% of the global electricity. But it's not going to be. And they could ultimately by 2025, that is 5 years from now, the AI would use minimum 10%, it can be more. And this opinion was also shared by Jonathan Comey, the senior scientist at the Rocky Mountain Institute, and other things. The forecast is a worst case scenario, and the purpose is to ensure that there's a new thinking in hardware and software. But this is a real shocker. And as I said, the hero, the hope, and tomorrow is already being branded as a culprit. What happens? Let's see next. But then that's not all. Most of us, and by the way, you shouldn't get a heartburn hearing this news that AI is a culprit of massive energy eating and climate change. And if you have a heartburn, I'm sure you're going to run to your bureau to take out some heartburn tablet, thumbs up, or maybe a hard one. But here comes the news. And the news is from Austria. It has been published in the medical journal of Nature Communications, and they say that the heartburn drug can give you allergies. Now we have been knowing that heartburn drugs are harmful. But the worst thing that has been known now is that it can cause hives. And along with the hives, it can cause allergies. We knew that heartburn can cause hundreds of things. As a matter of fact, according to one doctor, my problem of esophagus is because of the heartburn. So, the Australian researchers said that anti-allergy medication is being used in a large number by those who have heartburn and they take stomach acid inhibitors. So, you cure one disease, you get another one. So, do we take medicine? I don't know. But the frontiers of knowledge keep on expanding, and our knowledge about the harmful effects of the medication, of the drugs, is coming to light again and again. And this is the worst thing that would come. But then, when we have a problem, excuse me, please. Sorry. As I was saying, that nature comes to our aid whenever we are in a problem. And today the biggest screw, the biggest fear is that of cancer. And here comes the news, which is quite a miracle sort of a thing, and it has been seen from research in Birmingham that feverfew, a very common flower, you can easily recognize it in home garden, is extremely useful. We are aware that for hundreds of years, this flower has been used as a traditional medication for migraines and other pain. But the actual use has been questionable. University of Birmingham has, in fact, now extracted a compound from the leaves of this plant. And they say this is a potent cancer killing. So leaves of the feverfew plant, which is a very common plant, have a compound which, if extracted properly, can be anti-cancerous, anti-carcinogenic. They have been conducting this research for years, and then they have ultimately found that feverfew and few other plants, related plants, are high in penetholite, and that compound is extremely useful for combating cancer. And this compound, again, very interestingly, is found maximum when the flowering cycle is nearing the end. If you pluck the leaves before the flowering cycle starts or during the flowering cycle, it may be in negligible quantity. But near the end of the flowering cycle, the leaves, if removed and the compound extracted, then they say that there are 76 versions of this compound. It has a good bioavailability. That means it can react with the living cells, and it's better than the most other pharmacological productions today. So Mother Nature is always there. But then, can you believe? The scientists have found there are 5 animals who can help us get rid of diseases. And they are, don't be shocked. First is chimpanzees. The chimpanzees are one animal which have the same genetic makeup as most of the humans have. And when you combine the clogged entry problem with increased intake of red meat and other foods, you get more heart disease. Recent research has shown that the loss of a specific gene increases our possibilities of getting the heart attack. But the chimpanzees have a compound in them which, if extracted, can be used for the human beings and reduced the risk of the heart disease. And then you don't have to kill the chimpanzee. It is those genes have to be injected in human beings, and they can help. Then, similarly, the naked mole is a sort of a rat. And they say that this can teach us long about cancer. As a matter of fact, they have the same life as ordinary dormouse has. But sometimes their life is much more healthy. And then, they have that capability in their body that cancer can never attack them. So the scientists are now trying to extract those chemicals, compounds, and make chemicals from them. Another thing, imagine kangaroos. Kangaroos are animals which can bounce at a speed of 40 miles per hour and no arthritis. So the scientists are studying the unique bone structure of the kangaroos and trying to rearrange the ligaments in human body so that human body imitates kangaroos, and we human beings can be saved from the pain and misery of arthritis. Similarly, there's a cavefish. Today, 1 in 10 adults in the world has diabetes. But the cavefish has been observed to live on algae and can eat as much as it longs and no blood sugar. So they are trying to use the eating habit of cavefish, find out what's in the algae and what's in the seaweed which can enable human beings to conquer diabetes. And zebras. Could you believe that this striped animal can be useful to us? But It has been seen that the stomach ulcers from which we suffer, animals like zebra never do. They have a long stress period. Now imagine this. Zebras have the same stress level as human beings have. So they should have the same ulcers, but no. So they are trying to find out from the blood analysis of the zebras what is it that saves them from ulcers. And they have found that there is a compound in that which, if formulated in the laboratory, can save human beings from ulcers. And then we don't have to take the anti-ulcer drugs or anti-acid drugs, and we'll be fine. So diseases are a problem. And the biggest problem in this age is depression. Do you know that 300 million people suffer from depression today? And Denmark has come up with a beautiful approach. No medication. Lift people out of depression with vitamin. But not a vitamin made in the lab. Not a vitamin you can get at a pharmacy. They call it culture vitamin. Now, what is culture vitamin? The word actually is culture vitamina. Culture vitamin is the English translation of that. And they have started trials of that, and they are very successful. So what they say is that they are training common people in small groups to experience communal living, social living, living away from stress, living as human beings, not fighting human beings, but as loving human beings. And depression costs today $1 trillion every year. According to the research done in Denmark, listening to music is good, but is not that good in depression. So what they say is, if it's listened to in a social setting, say there's a music going to be played in the city hall or in a huge convention center, and all of them people are participant in that, that will bring people out of depression. So culture vitamin is again our own participation without any imposition from abroad. So these are the new advances, but the march continues, and we see next week what is new. Thank you.